Hey everybody, what's happening? My name's Steven.
And I'm Spencer.
Today we're talking to you about a topic that tends to have a little bit of taboo that comes around it. And what we want to do is dispel some of that. We're going to talk about mental health and mental health awareness. We're going to do this in two different videos. And so what we're going to do first is we're going to jump into a quick video that's going to explain some things, give you some statistics and information. First and foremost, we want you to know that if you are struggling with anything, that we are here for you. And that is the basic premise of this video, is to let you know that we're here for you and give you as much information as we can give you in a short amount of time. So we're going to jump right into this video.
So as you can see from that video, guys, it had a lot of really good information about mental health and how kind of prevalent it is in our society and around the world as well. A lot of different facts in there. I think one of the biggest ones is that 1 in 5 people do suffer from some kind of mental illness, which again is what we're trying to do, trying to show people that, you know, it's more common than we think, so we should be talking about it more and getting the help that we do need. Let's start off here, guys, by talking about what is mental health and defining it. So mental health refers to the maintenance of successful mental activity, which includes maintaining productive daily activities and maintaining fulfilling relationships with other people. It also includes maintaining the abilities to adapt to change and cope with life's different stresses.
Absolutely. And so what we want you to realize, as that video explained, that there are a lot of people that are experiencing certain things and a lot of mental health distress, and everyone experiences that, and we want you to make sure that that is something that you understand. Everybody experiences it to some level or a different level than somebody else. And so we all experience it at these different levels, and that's okay. We want you to be able to get help for it. One of the numbers that is alarming is 1 in 5 teens from 12 to 17 can have a diagnosable mental health disorder. That number kind of shocked me, honestly. I thought that number might be like maybe 1 in 10, but that's understandable. And now we also see less than 1/3 receive the help that they need. To me, and I think you would probably agree, this statistic is one that is even more alarming, because that means 2 out of 3 are not receiving the help that they need. So we're going to give you some information at the end of the video so you can connect with us. We can get you some resources if that's something that you want. We want to be that resource for you. So remember, you're not alone in this journey in life. We're going to be partnering with you. We hope to partner with you and help you get the resources that you would need.
Next, we're going to talk about anxiety, guys. And just kind of to preference this, when we talk about anxiety here in this presentation, it's in anxiety disorders, not your normal everyday anxiety that we all kind of go through, you know. So we all kind of go through anxiety on a daily basis, whether it's school activities, you know, sports, whatever it may be. We all go through these different anxieties, but what we're going to talk about here on this slide is anxiety disorders. So there are different varieties, which include generalized anxiety disorder, which affects about 3.1% of our population. And when I give percentages on this slide, guys, it's going to be for the United States, not the world. So 3.1% of the United States is affected by general anxiety disorder, or GAD. Next one is social anxiety, which affects 6.8% of our population. And these are the people who, you know, they don't do well in social situations. They may not like to be in big groups. They may not like to meet new people. It may be difficult for them to do that. They prefer either be by themselves or be in their small group of friends.
Quick question for you, Spence. Is social anxiety different than pre-game anxiety?
Yeah, it is. Because social anxiety almost makes the person want to kind of withdraw.
Okay.
So they'll withdraw from people So picture being a new student and going to school, but not being able to talk to anybody, you know, not being able to make new friends and things like that. Next is panic disorder, which affects 2.7% of our population. And these are people who experience panic attacks on a pretty regular basis. So if you ever experience a panic attack, you know how scary that can be. And for these people, it happens pretty often. Next up is PTSD, or post-traumatic stress disorder, which affects 3.5% of our population. And typically people think of PTSD and they think, oh, somebody who went to war. You know, they saw some stuff in war, they came back and gave them PTSD. But it's really important to remember, guys, that any traumatic situation that happens in a person's life can give them PTSD. So it's not just people who've been at war, it's not just soldiers, it can be anybody. Next on the list is what's called agoraphobia, which affects just under 1% of our population. And people with agoraphobia, they fear the unknown. So they don't like to leave their house because their safe space. Their house is a place they can control. They go outside, they can't control anything in the outside world, and that really scares them. And next up is obsessive compulsive disorder, otherwise known as OCD, which affects about 1% of our population. Now this is the one, Steve, where I think a lot of people kind of misdiagnose themselves. They tend to think, you know, hey, I like my shoes clean, or I like my room clean, or my cupboards in a certain order, you know. But that just means you're like an orderly or cleanly person. It doesn't necessarily mean you have OCD. People with OCD have these certain rituals they have to get through, and some of them take a long time, some of them don't take as long, and usually they have a set number. There's rare cases, we know of one professional baseball player, who actually didn't have a set number of times he had to do them. Whatever number he saw when he first woke up would be the number of times he had to do them. But these rituals can be very time consuming and very life altering.
You would hope that he would not see the number 99.
Yeah, for sure.
So we talk about this because we understand it affects everybody. But this anxiety disorder would affect about 10% of teenagers in the United States. And only 1 in 5 teenagers affected get treatment. That is alarming. Again, that means 4 of you are not getting the treatment that you need if you suffer from this. And so we want you to make sure that you understand very clearly that we want you to be able to reach out to us and reach out to somebody that maybe a trusted adult that you have that you can get help and talk to, because it's really important that you get the help that you need. And also the symptoms can include anger, irritability, trouble sleeping, fatigue, headaches, stomach aches, increased heart rate, and even trouble breathing. And anxiety is actually more common in females. And the difference between anxiety disorder and just regular anxiety is a couple different things here. It's more intense, it's longer lasting, it interferes with your ability to work, your normal activities, and your relationships. That could be romantic relationships, family relationships, friendships, anything like that. So what we're going to do now is we're going to watch a video that's going to talk a little bit more about some anxiety. We want to give you an opportunity to watch this, and like we said at the end of the video, we'll have some links that you can reach out to us and get the help that you might want.
Tests, traffic, Twitter. Oh, it's also overwhelming and stressful. But who has time to relieve stress when it's constantly building and building? Well, we hope you do. Because studies have shown that too much stress leads to headaches, higher blood pressure, an upset stomach, memory loss, disrupted sleep, and increased risk for heart attacks. Stress does a number on your mind and body, draining your immune system and messing with your ability to concentrate. Having tense, sore muscles, shallow breath, increased heart rate, these are all signs that you might be too stressed out. Hey! We all know that you can't take fewer classes. You can't quit the track team or resign from student government. We get it. But here are a few tips that will help you feel calmer inside when your outside life gets too hectic. 1. Stay in and recuperate. When stressed, you might feel the need to tackle everything on your to-do list all at once. But that sets you up for burnout and failure. Instead, find a simple routine task to complete at home, like doing the dishes or vacuuming. Studies show that completing a repetitive task allows your brain to pare down and focus. The perfect cure for a worried, scattered mind. After you finish cleaning your house, clean yourself. Yes, we wrote that. Clean yourself, because a warm bath or hot shower will boost your mood. Studies have shown that the sensation of warm water triggers responses in the body and brain similar to those triggered by emotional warmth. So, think of your next shower like a soothing liquid hug. I love you guys. If you find stress keeping you up all night, try progressive muscle relaxation just before bed. That is a fancy way to describe clenching up every muscle in your body for a few seconds, and then letting go. Lie on your back and start with your forehead, continuing through your tummy, down through your thighs, and finally your little toes. Repeat as needed until every muscle is completely relaxed. Then, sleep like a baby. 2. Get out for good vibes. Downward doggy paddle your way through stress. The spiritual mantras used in yoga and meditation help focus the mind and stave off feelings of anxiety. Yoga not for you? That's okay. Go outside for a good dose of natural light and a little jog. Exercise lessens anxiety and helps maintain feelings of calm even in the face of distressing events. Hey, leave the headphones behind. All the distracting chatter from those texts and emails and tweets can wait. And hey, instead of texting, emailing, or tweeting your best friend, why don't you guys just meet up and get in a good laugh? Because laughter injects a surge of endorphins into the body, which creates feelings of happiness and euphoria, which is why you like them so much. 3. Here's the best one. Treat yourself to something yummy. Chocolate. Alright, look, we're not condoning emotional eating, because that's a whole other thing. But there are treats that you can keep handy that will improve your mood, like dark chocolate. Certain chemicals in chocolate help relax the blood vessels, which reduces blood pressure. You can also appeal to your sense of smell for relaxation. The aromas of spearmint and lavender have proven de-stressing effects. So go buy a lavender-scented candle or pick up some spearmint tea. Take a moment to yourself and breathe in the goodness. There you have it, Wellcasters, our quick tips for stress relief. You're going to have to anticipate that life will be filled with ups and downs. So when the challenges do come, you can take comfort now in knowing that there's a warm shower just on the other side of your bathroom, or a delicious piece of chocolate stashed in your bag. So yummy. Be sure to incorporate stress relief strategies into your daily routine. Make them as essential as breathing. In through your nose, and out through your mouth.
Okay guys, so that video gave us quite a few different tips that are kind of universally known to help, relieve anxiety. I know one of them on there said, go hang out with your friends or hang out with people who you like to be around. And that can be difficult right now in these times with, COVID going on and the social distancing and not being able to see everybody as much as you want to see them. But what you can do is you can keep in contact with your friends, FaceTime them, see them through your Zoom classes, text them all the time, call them on the phone. I know we don't do that enough anymore, but call them on the phone just so you can hear somebody's voice. Don't hear that reassuring voice. You may not know it, but just hearing somebody's voice is a really good way to relieve anxiety, especially if you really like that person. So those are a couple more tips you can do there for right now during this whole, the whole time we have going on right now. So next we're going to move to depression, guys. Depression is the most common mental health disorder amongst teens and adults alike. About 2.8 million teens ages 12 to 17 have had one major episode that was a study done in 2014. And 10 to 15% of teens have had some kind of symptoms of teen depression at any one point during their life. So it doesn't have to be recently, but at any point. And 8.3% of teenagers suffer from depression for at least a year at a time, which is compared to only about 5.3% of the general population. So it actually seems a little bit higher for teenagers. That could be for a multitude of reasons. There's a lot of pressure on teenagers right now. Or actually, there's always a lot of pressure on teenagers. So that could be part of the reason why that's going on.
And as you mature, you handle things a little bit differently. And
yeah, most definitely.
We talked about depression, we talked about anxiety, and then we talked about anxiety disorder, and we talked about depression. And so now we're going to talk about depressive disorder. And it's important that we understand that it lasts for at least 2 weeks and affects a person's emotions, their thinking, their behavior, and their physical well-being. So it's all encompassing, and you can see some changes that might happen with somebody. It also affects their ability to work and have satisfying relationships. Things that once kind of gave them pleasure no longer does that. Whether it's who they're with, like what friends they're with, or family, or whatever, it just doesn't satisfy them anymore. And it also affects their ability to carry out normal everyday activities. So you might see somebody that was normally doing really well in school, and if they're becoming, or they fall into an episode of having this depressive disorder, you can then see their grades decline or their work ethic decline. So it's very common that it affects this. And so what we're going to do is we're going to show you one more video, and it's going to be a video of a young woman helping another friend who is struggling with some depression, and she's going to talk to her and just kind of listen, pick up some key things that she's saying, and we'll talk to you a little bit after that.
Hey, I'm Ellie, and this is Lynn.
Hey!
Last year, I was diagnosed with depression. Lynn was there to see the whole thing go down. You've probably heard the words depression before, but might not know exactly what depression means. Let's say you get some bad news. Hey.
Oh my God. I just saw your boyfriend holding hands with Jenny at the mall. He is so over you.
Things like breakups are painful and might make you feel sad, frustrated, angry, or heartbroken. But trust me, most teens go through that kind of stuff. Depression is something completely different. Check this out. Think of the thermostat in your house or apartment. When the temperature in your house gets too cold, the heat kicks in and brings the temperature back to just right. Your brain works a lot like the thermostat. Let me show you. Let's say this line is the just right mood. And these two dotted lines are the happy and sad range of emotions that you might feel whenever. Like the thermostat in your house, when your mood goes down, your brain makes changes to bring your mood back up. When your mood goes up, your brain makes changes to bring your mood back down to that just right level. When I was depressed, it was like the thermostat in my brain broke. My mood started going down, and I got totally stuck, like at the super low level. That's when depression came into my life. When I was depressed, there were some really obvious signs that something was wrong. My sleep changed. I wanted to sleep all the time. I had no energy. Even brushing my teeth felt overwhelming. That sounds stupid, but that's how I felt. I lost interest in all the things I used to like. It seemed like nothing made me happy or excited anymore.
Don't answer the phone. No one wants to talk to you. Look at yourself. Who'd want to be around you?
I had lots of sad thoughts and feelings. It was like my brain kept saying things to me that I would never have thought before.
Ellie, I care about you. Things are gonna get better. I promise. You're just having a hard time right now.
Am I always going to be like this? I just feel so sad.
You're my best friend, and I know you're gonna get through this. I think you should talk to someone and try to get some help.
Just leave me alone. I felt like I was on an elevator going down, and I couldn't get off. I started to think that I'd be better to die than to keep feeling so sad. That scared me. I remembered what my friend Lynn said, and I decided to get help. I went to see a therapist. The therapist told me that the thoughts of sadness and hopelessness and suicide were my depression talking. My therapist said that as my mood went back up, depression would be forced to leave me alone. The other thing was to take the meds my doctor prescribed me to help my brain work the way it did before I was depressed. Having Lynn's support made a huge difference. After taking the meds for a while and talking to my therapist, I really started to feel better. Life is worth living again.
I'm just happy you're back to your old self. I told you you'd feel better.
Alright, we've got some serious texting to do. So, TTYL.
So as you see from our last video, guys, it's really important to reach out and get the help you need if you're feeling any such way like depression or any of these things, really. So it's really important to reach out. If you have nobody that if you don't think you have anybody you can reach out to, we're always here. Our phone number is down here, 209-257-1980. Listen for one of our extensions, Stephen Hartman or Spencer Duchy. Please give us a call, guys, if you're feeling this way. This will conclude part 1 of our mental health awareness presentation, and we'll see you guys soon for part 2. And as always, stay healthy and stay safe.